Being hated for being free. Hey everyone, welcome back to Childfree for Life. Don't forget to subscribe to be a for lifer. Hello everybody, new member here. I'd just like to share an experience I had recently. It's a long read, but one I believe many of you will likely relate to. As a 27-year-old male, I have many friends with children, mostly in the toddler age group, as well as many friends without children like myself. Now, don't get me wrong, I love being the fun friend or uncle or friend uncle, lol, but I've always stood firm in my decision not to have kids. To that end, most of my friends with children have grown to accept that and we just don't bring it up. No cause to, right? I think my friends just expect that one day I and whoever I may be courting will announce a pregnancy, to which end I know they'll be disappointed, but that's okay. See, being a single, childless young man, I naturally have quite a bit of freedom in my life than my friends with children. I can still live life on a whim. They can't. I can roughly predict what the next 2 weeks will hold. They can't. If I want to have kids later in life, I can reverse that decision, but would likely adopt. They can't. Most of my friends with children are still wholesome and loving friends. They love to see me traveling to exotic places, and they adore the small trinkets and lengthy stories I bring home with me. One set of friends, however, has shown their true colors lately. See, over the past few years, I've helped them left and right and center financially. I don't mind because they have mouths to feed and I know how it feels to struggle. So I don't want to see my friends and their children doing the same. The most notable expense was the $1,800 I shelled out to literally buy them a running vehicle. Bear that in mind that $1,800 will be important later. The friends in question have a 3-year-old together and the girlfriend has a 9-year-old from a previous relationship. This couple in particular has turned very bitter to me lately, almost as soon as they found out I'm planning a month-long trip to Brazil in June. My friend's immediate response was disgusted noise. You should be saving that money so you can buy a house and start a family. And I replied, I have no interest in reproducing and I'm not ready to set an anchor. We discussed that. And his girlfriend pipes in, yeah, whatever, must be nice to just fly off all over the world. Maybe one day you'll know what it's like to be responsible instead of only thinking about you. Excuse me? I've worked my fingers to the bones to save for this vacation and all my previous voyages, and to that end, I'm not done yet. I've been strictly budgeting my money for over a year to make this happen. I even gave up both my cigarettes and soda to save up a few more dollars per week. No eating out, no buying video games, basically nothing outside of the essentials. I work more hours per week than both of them combined. Not judging they have kids to care for, but still I earned this. And then for them to act like I'm a lesser man because I didn't accidentally reproduce right out of high school? To me, that was both laughable and pathetic. Now, even at this point, I had chalked it up to, okay, they resent me for it in the moment. I guess I understand that. Because I know that neither of them have ever gotten to do such a thing, and I do feel somewhat like a jerk that they have to watch me fly off to Brazil knowing they can't afford to do much because, well, raising children is expensive. But then, they take it a massive step further and ask me to borrow $3,000 so they too can do something this summer. She even whipped out her phone and pulled up the resort they want to stay at on Table Rock Lake, Missouri. As soon as I noticed she'd entered the info for a 14-day stay totaling $2,400, I realized they had planned to ask for this money all along. I was honestly speechless for a moment. So eventually I said something along the lines of, look man, I've been saving for this for over a year. I can't afford to loan any of that money out, or won't be able to afford to go on my vacation, and to be honest, I still have to recoup that $1,800 I loaned y'all before my plans are even back in the green. So I'm sorry, but the answer is no. And they just lost it. All you single butt wipes ever think about is yourself. You have no idea what it's like. We never get to do anything. Some friend you are. You'd rather go off by yourself than help our kids have a good summer. At that point, I simply left without another word. It was clear to me now that all I ever was a piggy bank. In truth, I guess it was my fault for being proud of my frugality and occasionally mentioning my savings like, hey man, I hit 10,000 today, 2/3 of my way there. This all happened last weekend, and even today I received another text. Are you sure we can't all just go to the lake together? The kids really need this. It's not like you can't go to Brazil another time. And this, friends, has been a hastily written and hurtful example of entitlement. Takeaways: 1. Don't discuss your finances with anyone that isn't directly affiliated with them. Yourself and your partner, or maybe your parents, but not your friends. 2. If you choose to loan a substantial amount of money to a friend, get it in writing. Save yourself from losing $1,800 or more, like me. 3. Thank you for reading, and feel free to share discourse or similar stories in the comments. I think the worst part is the assumption that because we are child-free means we are irresponsible. Truth is, many of us have responsibilities. They're just different kinds of responsibilities. Lots of us work, study, do volunteering, or take care of pets and other family members, etc. Just the other day, I was told I was immature and needed to grow up because my child-free views were immature. I asked them if my 70-year-old child-free uncle was immature and not grown up, and they didn't reply. Also, choosing not to have children is taking responsibility, not to bring children into the world we aren't fit or ready to take care of. I am so upset for you. When I told my dad sometime in August, in person, that, "Daddy, I'm very sure I do not want kids," he said, "Well, girlie, you better know how to say no and stick to it because people feel entitled to your time and money. They won't like you for that either." He has 3 kids, including me, but people have always felt entitled to his money because he made it. Today, he regrets helping those folks because they're still entitled and would never help him if he needed it. Once again, good deeds don't go unpunished. Even if they weren't using you as a free ATM, they are still total butt wipes on every level because they spend their money on other things than you and resent you for their choices. Since they used you as a free ATM, it doubles their butt wipeness. This also happens when people win the lottery. Suddenly you have extra friends and family popping up asking for money because since you already have millions, you can do to spare a little, no? Of course, when they receive a no, the new rich person is suddenly scum of the earth. There's a reason winners of the lottery in my country get a training on how to deal with their sudden richness. I also find that take responsibility funny since they're the ones asking for stuff they can't afford and needs you to provide this for them. Anyway, good for you for cutting them off. What a bunch of horrible people. My mom is atrociously negative. I very specifically did not mention my Brazil pants to her because I knew what I could expect. And of course, I got hit with, "Our house is in shambles. We need a new roof. Think of our family for once." Gee, Mom, I'm sorry you spent the last decade in a near-condemned house because grandma owns it and you don't have to pay. The house my mom ran her out of and outed her away in the nursing home, when my grandmother is still perfectly mobile. It's a messed up family to be sure. It'll be a cold day in hell before I re-roof that house. Rather than sending the kids gifts each year for birthdays, like you mentioned, or Christmas, etc., instead I would set up a small fund for the kids that can gradually grow over time to help with future college. But don't tell the parents you're doing this. For right now, disappear out of their lives. But for a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old, they won't appreciate most gifts, and the parents need to learn to stand on their own feet as adults. If you care about the kids and want to help out, this is what I would do. Even a fund at a decent interest rate, starting at like $100, that'll build up over time to a decent amount by the time it's time for college. That's actually a very sweet thought, and a very logical one too, because I don't see the parents doing such a thing. The 9-year-old, I believe her father will see to it. He's trying to get custody as we speak, but in my state, the mother almost always wins. The 3-year-old got it bad though. They're both her parents. I may just do that and only tell the father of the 9-year-old about the one regarding his child, because I believe he will be thrilled and would want to match my contributions. Thank you so much for the thought. That's got my gears turning now.